Hello, every pony. It's Peaches and Cream. This is Fluff Fluff Fluttershy 169's little sister.
Today we're going to be reading The Cutie Crusaders and the Legend of the Rainbow Idol by Cyanide. In this story, what do you get when you combine 3 energetic fillies and a jealously guarded treasure? Trouble, and possibly snacks. This is a comedy slice of life, and as you all already know, we have my little sister who's going by the username Peaches and Cream. She really wanted to do a recording with me, so I'm letting her do some of the voices of the Cutie Crusaders. So I hope that you all like it, and tell me if you want to hear more of this, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. The ancient cavern was dank and warm in an unsettling way. The incessant drip, drip, drip of water from the stalactites looming precariously overhead echoed hollowly in the distance. The ground was damp and dirty, and remnants of the ancient rocks that had been worn down into gravel, then sand, and then finally dust by countless eons of relentless and unforgiving natural forces. Tiny rivulets wound their way across the dirty ground where the water found easier paths through the dirt here and there, drawing crooked lines that led down into the dark, lonely, and forbidding bowels of Equestria. But for the endless dripping of water, silence had resigned here for centuries. No pony had set foot this far into the rooted cellar of the cavern since the time of Nightmare Moon, or perhaps before. The first visitor the ancient tunnels had seen since the time of the Immemorals were even now winding their ways through the cave's complex, the clatters of 3 sets of hooves and soft whispers of careful, experienced explorers barely breaking the silent spell that hung over the—
Ow!
Sweetibel's cry caused her companions to come up short, and Applebloom and Scootaloo rushed to their friend's defense.
You all right, Sweetibel?
Applebloom asked. Sweetibel winced as she reached up to gingerly examine her horn.
Yeah, I'm okay. I just bumped my horn on one of these stupid shells.
The root cellar behind the barn at Sweet Apple Acres was Applejack's pride and joy, and after a season's work of digging it out, every pony understood why. Now Sweet Apple Acres would be able to set aside barrels of apples that would keep longer in the cool cellar, as well as jars of preserves, pickles, and even a few casks of Applejack's namesake, distilled by AJ and Big Mac during off-seasons. Wooden shelves lined with hard-packed dirt walls, laden with every kind of foodstuff, and sacks of grain and flour were laid along the walls and on the floor, both for storage and to catch anything that might fall. Should be the simple shelving collapse. Today, though, 3 brave fillies explorers had a singular goal in mind: the last precious jar of Zap Apple Jam. From where the 3 young ponies stood, and the rainbow colors within the jar seemed to glow and shimmer with the delicious promise from the shelves at the far end of the cellar.
Would you 2 keep it down?
Sweetibel whispered urgently.
We'll get in trouble if we get caught down here.
With narrowed eyes and the momentary discomfort from her stubbed horn forgotten, Sweetibel smiled canningly.
Well,
she said,
it's not like anyone told us we couldn't be down here. Right?
Scootaloo furrowed her brows, her tiny wings fluttering uncertainly. Well, I guess. What do you think, Applebloom? The duo looked at Applebloom, who suddenly seemed to have decided that the bag of rye chops she stood next to was terribly interesting.
Applebloom?
Sweetibel asked slowly. Well, the Earth Pony said equally slowly. Actually, I might have asked Applejack if we could just get the jar, and she might have said no. The 3 adventurers stood at the edge of the chasm, deep within the mountain. The rent of the earth was massive, a gulf to swallow the ponies whole. No pony could say how many ponies had been lost and forgotten within the maw. Ancient piles were driven into the rocks, testaments to the ancients, rickety bridges that had, until mere moments before, provided the only passage across the black gulf. The trio stared numbly at the rotten and broken wooden pegs that had been torn free of the piles, and the passage on the other side of the cleft, the only pathway to their goal now rendered inaccessible. The flickering of the kerosene lantern that was their only source of light into the depths of the earth made shadows dance mockingly at the mouth of the unattainable entrance.
Apple Bloom!
Sweetie Belle squeaked in agitation.
We can't just go stealing the jam. Rarity would kill me.